Okay, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Haro Kakwadash. Double honors to the Apostle Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to all the Akim listening to these videos. Alright, so this video is going to be just a quick video on the law. So I got a few news articles right here. It says, man 18 dies from tapeworm larva in his brain after eating pork. Now, before we get into these articles that I have lined up, I'm going to read some of these precepts, concerning the law. All right, so the first one I have here, this is Matthew 5 and 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Yeah, because this is supposed to be in the red letter, because Yahweh Shai said this. And what he said, when he mean by this, is that he came here, as a sacrifice for the nation of Israel, but he didn't come to do away with the old laws and all that. He came to fulfill them, because it's all prophecy. The laws are pretty much just practice to the kingdom. Because once we're in the kingdom, we're gonna fulfill the laws, statutes, and commandments to a T. Because right here, in this society, it's pretty much impossible to do it. Like, you can try the best as you can, but Satan's just he's gonna be in the midst, and he's gonna mess with you. All right, so there's another precept I got. This is Romans 7 and 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good. Yeah, because like anything that's according to the books of Moses, those are all good for you. Like, the reason we're not supposed to eat pork, it's not just a coincidence that that's in the scriptures. The reason we're not supposed to be laying down with other men or other men's wives, there's specific reasons, because if you do that, it's bad for your flesh. It's gonna bring up a lot of bacteria. It's just bad health. Just another precept to hammer down the concept about the law being good. This is Psalms 19 and 7. The law of the Lord Yahawah is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord Yahawah is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord Yahawah are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandments of the Lord Yahawah is pure, enlightening the eyes. And it's pretty much like what these precepts in the New Testament, mind you, that they're speaking about how beneficial the law is, or how it's not just the law is just going to be done away with. Like how these wacky-tacky Christians, they'll always bring up that they can eat pork because the law is done away with. Well, I just read contrary to what they're professing. And so back on the thing that I was saying, because in this society, this isn't our rest. We can't physically keep the law 100%. There's no way you can do that, because the Pharisees and the Sadducees were professing that they were doing that, but in reality they weren't, because if you break one of the laws, you break them all. You're guilty of all of them. And all those Pharisees and Sadducees, they were doing the law, statutes, and commandments in front of people to be men pleasers, pretty much, in the sight of men. All right, so this is Galatians 5 and 17. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that you would. Yeah, because the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Because right now this is the condition of the battle. We're dealing with the trials and tribulations and things that tempt us. Because Yahweh Shai was tempted. He was tempted to bow down before Satan so that he can inherit the current kingdom. But he didn't do that. And it's the same thing that we have to do. Because Satan's going to get at us, and we have to do the best of our ability to deny the flesh and adhere to the spirit. All right, so that being said, you have to be steadfast and loyal, and just keep your eye on the prize. But with this with the society that we're in, it's real hard to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump to this precept. It's because it's talking about what I'm speaking of. This is Proverbs 24 and 16. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Because in the society, left and right, up and down, you're gonna be attacked by Satan. That's why you have to wear your armor of faith at all times, even when you're sleeping. All right, so this is Ephesians 2:5. Even when we were dead in sins, hath quickened us together with Hamashiach Yahawashi. By grace you are saved. Yeah, because you can't just be saved by following the laws. Like if you just so happen to follow all the laws, then that means that you're under grace, because pretty much that's one of the commandments that Yahawashi laid upon us, is that we have to be we have to be graceful for our brothers, and that like Slack, it escapes my mind, but you have to be in accordance with the Akim, and to the best of your ability follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Like when Yahweh Shai was working on the Sabbath, he was doing it lawfully. As much as it trips your mind, because it's a stumbling block to it was a stumbling block to the Pharisees in the time, because they didn't understand why Yahweh Shai was he was getting food for his fellow brethren. And then he told him that how Daniel, he ate of the showbread that was unlawful for him to eat, and only the priests were allowed to eat. Because that's where grace comes in. Because in these bodies we can't 100% follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You can't be a super duper Israelite yet until we're in the kingdom, because this isn't our rest. All right, so this is 1 Timothy 1:8. But ye know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully. Yeah, that's right, because these laws are perfect, but again, that can be a stumbling block, because you have to use these laws and apply them to benefit you and the family around you. The family being the Hebrew Israelites. All right, so this is Hebrews 10:26. For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. And this pertaining to once you get that realization, that grace that you're supposed to be following the laws, and then of course you're gonna fall as you're trying to do these laws. But the main idea here is that you're attempting to do better, because that's the grace, because you're through your works you're showing, when you're falling you're getting back up. You getting back up is you showing your faith. And because the only thing, well, not the only thing, but the combination of things is what's going to lead you to the kingdom. Mainly being keeping the laws to the best of your ability, and that you have grace under Yahweh Shai. All right, so one law that's pertaining to the articles that I have today is Deuteronomy 14:8. And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcasses. So you're not even supposed to touch swine. But in this society, like you can go to a restaurant with your family, and you can be in your mind super duper Israelite and order the most well done lamb, but then you weren't there in the kitchen overseeing how they were cooking it. They were probably using the same knife that they were cutting bacon with, and then that goes against the scriptures. And that's where grace comes in, because we can't 100% keep the law to our best of our ability. We can't yell at the Moabites in the kitchen because they're cooking your soup with pig bones, because you're going to fall. That's the thing. But the main thing is that you get back up. All right, just read those precepts about the law. I'm gonna go ahead and read this article. I'm gonna read the topic, the header again. So, man, 18 years old, dies from tapeworm larva in his brain after eating pork. And you got to ask yourselves, oh, how could this have happened? Maybe he didn't cook it all the way. So, no, it's because the Heavenly Father made the swine for a specific reason in the world, to be part of the ecosystem, and you're not supposed to eat that. Like, do you see raccoons eating? Oh, sorry, that's a bad example. I'm gonna say, do you see dogs eating like things that they're not supposed to? Like, dogs don't eat chocolate. Everybody knows that. Because dogs weren't built to eat chocolate. Dogs were built to be scavengers. Like, they eat flesh of animals out in the wilderness. And something like that happened here in the Bay Area, where these people who were taking care of this island off the coast of Alcatraz. I forgot what specific island it was, but for some reason it's because they were being the damn devil. They put some venison there, so a bunch of deers, and in that little island ecosystem, it was just a whole bunch of deers, and then the deer population exploded on that island to the point where they started starving because all the deer that were already there were eating too much of the plants. That none of the plants were able to reproduce and grow more, so they can sustain the amount of deers that were there. And the only reason that those deers were like, with the population explosion, is because they weren't even supposed to be there, because their main ecosystem is the wilderness. Because in the wilderness there's wolves, canines, and those things balance out the ecosystem. Because I know Akim grew up with Bill Nye. He broke it down really good in his video a long time ago. I don't think I'll be able to find it, but he pretty much, he had a scale. He had one of these scales right here, and then the scientist Bill Nye, he put a bunch of wolves here, and he put a bunch of deers here, and then like obviously it would tip to whichever one was heavier. So when there was a bunch of deers, this one would be heavy, and then when there was less wolves, it would be more food for them, so they would balance itself out. So just going on a tangent about the ecosystem, everything has a place. They're there for a reason, and the law of you not touching with the swine, that law is not there just out of for no reason. Like it's not a coincidence that we're not supposed to mess with the swine or the shrimp. If we're going on that topic about like animals that specifically recycle certain things in the ecosystem. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the article. It says an unnamed 18-year-old visited the emergency center in India after suffering violent seizures after parasites spread into his brain. And here's the picture of his brain with all these parasites inside his brain. It says his parents told doctors in Fairbrad, India, that he had experienced pain in the right side of his groin for a week. On physical examination, he had swelling over his right eye, a tender right testicle, and was confused, according to a case study in New England Journal of Medicine. An MRI scan of his head shows that there were white spots all over his brain. There's a depiction of a little tapeworm of the parasites inside his body. Each white spot was a cyst caused by larvae of Taenia solium, a tapeworm found in pigs. Doctors also found cysts in the patient's eye and testicle. So this guy, he was through. It says the cyst caused damage in his cerebral cortex, the outer mantle of his brain tissue, as well as the brainstem, including the cerebellum at the back of the head. So the man was diagnosed with I'm not going to even attempt to read that, but he was diagnosed with being through, and it was a special form of cysticercosis, a tissue infected caused by the young form of tapeworms that affect the brain. Doctors prescribed him steroids and antibiotics, but he died 2 weeks later. So it doesn't matter how good the so-called white man's science is. Like the Heavenly Father says you're not supposed to eat swine or even touch it. If you do, bad things are going to happen. You're going to get a whole bunch of parasites. Moving on to the next article, it says girl, 10 years old, catches horrifying infection after playing in pigsty. This is, I believe it's an Edomite, a little 10-year-old Edomite, was barefoot and just saw a bunch of pigs, like in this picture, and just ran in there barefoot, just thinking it was cool. It was probably like a Peppa Pig episode to her. It says, 10-year-old girl managed to catch a gruesome infection on her feet after walking through pigsty while on holiday. The unnamed girl had papules and lesions on her feet and toes after playing in a pig pen without wearing shoes. It is thought the infection was caused by sand fleas that burrowed themselves in her bare skin. It's just another parasite, and it was caused because she was walking barefoot in a spot where pigs live and dwell at for a majority amount of time. Doctors at a primary care clinic, New England, USA, diagnosed her with a parasitic infection caused by the fleas. Her family told medics they had been on holiday in rural Brazil, and the youngster had wandered among the pigs barefoot. The infection, known as tungiasis, is caused by fleas that can be common in poverty-hit areas in Central and South America. The female sand fleas burrow into the skin, commonly the toes, soles, and heels. All right, yeah, so you pretty much get the gist. You're not even supposed to be near these things, or not touch them. But you see those porks, just let them do their thing that the Heavenly Father made them do. He programmed them to do their thing, and go ahead and eat some herbs because those are going to be healthy for you. Eating some ginger, or an apple, isn't going to give you that danger of having this happen to you. All right, in these two articles, I'm just gonna point out, like, see this thing. It says a few surprises in quarterly hogs report. U.S. has plenty of pork. This is the USA, also known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures. And you got to ask yourself, is why is it that in America they have plenty of porks? Well, it's because they're trying to Babylon the Great isn't going to keep any of the laws, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures. So they're pretty much doing their job, being the wicked and breaking all the laws, statutes, and commandments, and putting it upon our people, the Hebrew Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, so I'm not even gonna read the article, but here's some figures. How back in 2008 it was a rise, and then in 2015 it was another rise, and it just keeps rising. And there's another article, just to point it out. It says UNL Precision Livestock Technology to test for pig illness longevity. Because these are right here 4 red Hebrew Edomites, and they're putting their money and power and time to invest into pork longevity. Because this is where this is what their intent is, to keep this type of food out and about and ready and cheap, so that people can eat it and then get a whole bunch of illnesses from breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Willingly and unwillingly. Oh, so I said that wrong. Willingly and unwillingly. So I just wanted to read this part right here. It says the team recently received $675,000 from National Pork Board to fund 2 studies. I'm not going to go into it, but pretty much, if you want to make it in this society and you want to make some big bucks, work into what the Heavenly Father doesn't want you to do, like in the industry of pork. That's where the money's at. All right, so I'm gonna finish it off with this this precept. It says Jeremiah 7:24. But they hearken not, nor incline their ear, but walketh in the counsels and in the imagination of their evil heart, and went backward and not forward. And this is talking about our people, the Hebrew Israelites. We as we go out there to the highways and hedges, and we preach and prophesy the downfall of this kingdom, and tell our people who they are, that you're the powerful people in the world, the apple of the Most High's eye. They're not gonna care about it, because pretty much they're swines, and we're giving them pearls. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that precept out. It's a good finisher actually. Is Matthew 7:6. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn again and rend you. Because going back in this precept, this precept in Jeremiah 7:24, it's talking about our people. Like, not only do we, preach and prophesy on the streets and the highways and hedges, we do these epistles on the internet. So, it's readily available. We're not charging you. We're just, putting it up there. And then people, they're going to listen to it. And the ones that incline, those are the ones that are the hopeful elect, and the 1/3 that are going to be saved. But then you're going to have our people, namely the Hebrew Israelites, the 2/3, they're going to hear this and they're not going to forbear it. They're just going to, it says, I'm going to continue right here. It says, but walked in the counsels and in their imagination of their evil heart, and went backward and not forward. Because they're not going to hearken to what we say. I just showed you some gruesome pictures, but still our people are not going to hearken. All right, so that's the end of this video. This video is about, a little bit about the law and how it's actually good for you. The law is not there for no random reason. So I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawah Shai, Bahashem, Harakak Wadash, and Shalom Akim.